25 books that I want to read in 2025. Will I achieve all of this? Yes. Will I read above 25 books? Yes. Are some of these going to be audio? Yes. Have some of these been on my TBR for so long? Yes. Is one series been lent to me by my boss and I've had it for nigh on 3 months and I haven't touched it? Yes. So, if you want to know, welcome in. You guys are going to keep me accountable. If I do not read 25 of these books, you can keep putting a slap emoji in the comments until I do. Okay? Cool. I'm going to start off with one that I'm manifesting. I'm hoping. I'm praying. There isn't a release date yet. I am 90% confident that book 2 is going to come out in 2025. And if you're wondering, what are you talking about there? Have you been following me anywhere? Really? Have you? Because, of course. Strength of the Few. Book 2 of One of the Many. Which, One of the Many took me by storm. And every time somebody who doesn't finish it, which is fine, you're allowed to. I just die a little inside. It's just me. But, One of the Many. Yes. Yes. Strength of the Few. I'm hoping it'll be late 2025. I'm thinking October, November, December, right? Whether or not that'll happen, I don't know. I'm just praying to the bookish gods and the bookish publishers and his publisher, which is Saga Press. Praying to Saga Press that we get the Strength of the Few this year. You have no idea how unhinged I'm going to be when I get to these, when this releases, because you thought I'm bad with One of the Many. Wait until I have the Strength of the Few in my hands. Talking of new releases, I am currently still waiting for my Illumicrate edition of Heavenly Tyrant. I'm planning to reread this, but I'm also planning to read Heavenly Tyrant. Will it happen? I don't know. I joined a buddy read on Storygraph with AYINDE with a group of friends of mine. And yes, I've already read this, but it's been so long, and I know it's sci-fi, but I don't know, something about this has just like grabbed me and hooked me in, and it's just, I loved every second of it. I love the main character. I love how full of rage she is. Not a feminine rage, just general anger and rage at everything. I'm like, give it to me. Heavenly Tyrant is on this list. I'm going to try and reread this, but I don't know, it's only short. I want to do it, and I kind of want to annotate Heavenly Tyrant as well, because I did it with this one, because it just blew me away. So I want to read it, and that is kind of slowing me down. But I don't care. I'm here for enjoying the books I do read. I'm not here for reading as many as I want. It's Dragons. It's a completed series. A friend of mine ages ago hunted down books free for me. For some reason, I could not find it anywhere in the UK. And it is a hardback, but they are kind of like the same size. So she bought it for me all the way over in America and just sent it. And I was like, I have to. So why haven't I read these yet? I don't know. It's terrifying that I'm not going to like it. But I've heard this is way better than Fourth Wing. And if anybody knows me, I'd never read Fourth Wing, right? But it's Dragons. I know it's YA. But there are some YA books that just work for me. And this might be a book I have to read in between like big chunkers. Or like when my brain is mush. So, talking of when my brain is mush, I have decided to put Malazan on here. I know, I have committed to reading 10 books from Malazan. Am I going to read the 10? Probably not, no. I've changing that plan. But definitely Dead House Gates. And I want to say Memory of Ice. I want to get to, I think that's book 3. I want to get to those two. Because I'm on the outside of the Malazan hype and I want to be on the inside of the Malazan hype. So I do want to do it. It's just my brain is mush right now, and I did start Dead House Gates. But the thing is, I can't continue Dead House Gates while my brain is mush. So that's a problem. Another problem is as well, an hour per chapter. What are you going on about, Steven Erikson? What happened to breaking down a chapter so it was a nice regular length? Just saying. Because sometimes, like, I'm not usually the person who's sort of worried about stopping in the middle of a chapter, right? Something I just do. But what gets me is, because I'm an old granny, I have my Kindle zoomed in a lot, so the writing's big. And for some reason on that, it doesn't make it obvious when there's a scene break, and then we switch POV. So then I keep reading, and I'm like, I want a fucking break. And then I'll have to stop in between a scene break, which it's not the end of the world, right? Like, I can get over that. But when my brain is mush and I go back to pick up again the next day because I didn't have a lot of time to read the night before because work is busy and I cannot do these on audio, I'll be in a little bit of a problem of where the fuck are we? So I'll probably read them. Do you know what? I'm going to read them after I've binged Dragon Bone Chair. I've now finished Dragon Bone Chair. The urge to pick up Stone of Farewell was there. So I kind of want to be like, just binge through this series. Just binge it. It's kind of what I want to do. So once I finish the series, I'll probably go back to Dead House Gates. Maybe. Or maybe I might want a palette cleanser. I don't know. But I'm enjoying this series. This is a fun series. I hate and love Simon. I'm kind of hoping that it's going to get better in book 2, but for some reason I keep gravitating back towards it because I'm like, actually, the ending of Dragon Bone Chair, I wanna know. Things are happening. I want to know what happens next. So this, I don't know what it's called. I just call it the Dragon Bone Chair series. Memory, Sorrow and Thorn. That should have been obvious. Because I remember writing this in my notes for the Dragon Bone Chair. That, oh, that's kind of cool that you have Memory, Sorrow and Thorn in the book and here. I'm not going to say what the Memory, Sorrow and Thorn is in the book because it's a spoiler. But there we go. But if I end up wanting a palette cleanser book after binging the Memory, Sorrow and Thorn series, because they are chonkers. My boss lent me these 3 months ago. I haven't touched one of them. Okay, this is the one I'm meant to touch next, and this is a quartet. And the first book is All of Smoke, which I thought was fine. I did on audio, and I was like, oh, my boss was like, oh, I've read these. Do you want to read them? And I was like, maybe. And then she left them out for me at work, and I was like, guess I am. She has also got 2 of my books that she hasn't given back yet. So it's kind of like a moot point at the moment. But there we go. There we go. This is on my series. This is a book 2. This is like a Viking-inspired kind of thing. There's a priestess. Is there gods, if I'm remembering right? Well, there should be. It's called about fucking Temple of No God. I do not remember much about this series. I don't really want to tell you what's going on in these books because this is book 2, this is book 3, and this is book 4. So what is happening? I don't know. But these might be really good palette cleanser books. So if I need something a little bit short, maybe I'll just binge through these 3 short books and see how I go. Okay, I've got a feeling though these are going to be middling series, like middling books for me, which is fine. But I pick these middling books up when I just want a fun time, not a thought time, right? Whereas at the moment I want a thought time with Dragon Bone Chair and Dead House Gates and everything else that's going on. But there's that. If I want my heart ripped out, I'm going to pick this up. I only know that just from seeing some people, like friends and stuff online, people reading it, being like, I've just finished Land of the Living and the Dead and I'm sobbing my heart out. And I'm like, what has happened? This is the last one I have to read this series. I love this series. I'm debating whether or not I read book 1 and book 2 again. I don't know, because I think those were on Everend, where they used to be Scribd. So I could just audiobook those and then go straight into reading this one. I don't know. I'm literally just thinking this might be a really good one to bring with me when I had to go some places, but instead I'm not. I'm bringing a chunker with me instead. This is the 3rd book. This is Irish mythology and historical Ireland, very Viking-esque. There's magic. The magic is set around the mythology, but there's also, they're not allowed to influence the humans. but then some people do, some people don't. There's this thing happening, there's like this war, there's political things going on behind the scenes with the mythological people. There's Foldo you follow, and then there's Gormla, who I love them both. Like, especially Folder, who for me is a very good person in a character, and I'm like, I usually hate those kind of characters. I love her. And when you get to book 2, there's a little bit of a romance subplot going on, and I'm sitting there like, I'm loving this. Who am I? If Shora Lawless decided to write a historical romance, I'd probably read it. But Land of Living and the Dead, will I read this? Will I survive? I think is the answer to that. A client's dad gave this to me with the idea that you think I'd like it. We're talking books. He needs to try Ian Banks. All of a sudden he bought this. I need to read this. This is sci-fi. I might be in a sci-fi mood once I've read Heavenly Tyrant, or I might not, because I don't know. I'm not a massive. I blame The Expanse. The Expanse put me in a massive sci-fi slump. Not kidding. Like, huge, because it's just terrible. If you like it, you like it. I just did not like the fact that every book we changed POVs and there was no real depth to each character. And the last one I read, I think, was book 4, and I was like, what is happening in this book? Why is this here? The other ones I kind of see I was connecting, but this book is kind of where I expected things to really take off for the overarching plot, and it just middled, and it was just nothing. And I was like, nah, I'm out. So I bailed. Completely bailed. And it turns out I've read one of the authors, is it Age of Ash, by one of the co-authors for those series. Didn't like that either. So it could just be, they're just not for me. Just not for me. But anyway, this is on my list. I know Sam Not So Wise on here loves Ian M. Banks. So I'm committed. I'm committed. 2025, I'm going to get into Ian M. Banks. This is book 2. But book 3 is dropping down in May. I am hoping for an arc. And ROGBA, if you see this, give me an arc, please. I am begging you. I'm begging you. This book is brutal. It's about the historical event of Mongolian Empire with fantasy, and the fucking ending. What is going on? Stephen Aryan, what is in your dark, dark heart? Okay. Anyway, book 3 is dropping down in May. Cannot wait. On my list. OUTCAST MAGE, which has just dropped, and I pre-ordered an Audible, and I cannot wait to get to it. It might be a couple of weeks, maybe. I don't know. Depends on my mood, but it sounds cool. I met the author at Chimera last year, and I was like, oh, you got a book coming out. All of a sudden, oh, it's you. Oh, cool. This book sounds kind of fun. Here's the blurb, because I can't look it up in front of me. And then there's the Song of Legends Lost, which a friend of mine went to FantasyCon last year, and this author read the prologue, and she messaged me. She was like, this sounds so good, and we have similar tastes. So I just pre-ordered it on audio, and then if I love it so much, I will end up getting the physical book in paperback, because I have a hardback problem. So anyway, yes, that's on my list as well. Here again is another blurb, because I'm not looking that up in front of you. This is the sequel of this, should be coming out this year. We haven't had a cover. I think we've had a release date. I'm not sure. If it is, I'll put it here. This is very much a tale. It deals in a little bit of suppression. It deals in finding your ancestors. It deals in somebody like the vulture person coming after you for reasons. There's shadow magic, there's everything. There's Rumi, the main character, who is so full of anger but passion, and his passion for music, and how it started with that and the school, and then things start happening, and how he is part of the people who are just looked down upon just for who he is. And I just love this. Reading book 2 definitely, but I want to go through this book physically, because I did the audio last time, and the audio is so good. But I want to go through this physically, and I want to annotate it. And then hopefully ROGBA can sign book 2, because he signed this one, because he's such a lovely fucking guy. I will always say this. ROGBA is a lovely guy, and his craft and how he writes his stories, is one of the ones that I'll probably follow him through his career. But Dance of Shadows. Do not get this confused with Dance of Shadows by Girl from Hunty. A lot of people do. but The Dance of Shadows by ROGBA PAYNE. Everybody just go read it. I have 5 minutes before I have to go to work. Rapid fire. This is book 2 on the duology, which is like Egyptian and suffragette. I've talked about this quite a lot recently. This is on my list because I have this to finish it and I need to reread book 1. And this is just something that if everybody should read it, especially if you feel feminine rage. This is the last book in this series I have to read. I'm thinking I might have to either find a recap of the first 2 books or reread the first 2 books to then get to this one. I'm more inclined to try and do a recap because my reading is getting full with Malazan and the Cosmere that's on my list as well. So this has dragons. Dragons, you can basically use the dragon blood to inject you and it gives you power. That sounds kind of cool. And then there's dragons and there's political things coming across. There's all sorts of stuff. You follow multiple POVs. It's kind of giving like revolutionary, is it revolution? Like the kind of era where things are like you're starting to move toward modern technology. Okay, there might be, you know, there's ships, there's navies, there's all sorts of things going on, but it's not like your typical fantasy set in medieval times. You sort of move past that. I can't really think of a place in history that kind of fits this vibe because I want to say Napoleonic Wars, but it's kind of wrong. But I don't know. Try it. Book 2 is dropping in April. So before then, which I've just realised that is coming up a bit quick. It's coming up a bit quick. I need to reread Dragon Rider and then read book 2. So if you like Aragon but for adults, you read this. You just read this. You will love it. Justin Lee Anderson is now becoming a favourite author of mine, and I've only read 2 of his books. So this series took me by fucking storm, and I will never shut up about it. Think of somebody, a memory dry who wiped everybody's memories, and then you're starting to get yours back, and starting to help everybody else get their memory back, but then you're starting to think of what happened when you were under the memory spell. Like, was that real, or was that fake? And like, say you were in a relationship with somebody, and you're like, is it real? But I don't remember, but was this where it was happening? So that's just the surface. That's just kind of what's happening. And then you realise somebody put himself as king and who isn't technically rightfully king, and all of this going on. And it's just fascinating. And then you get to book 2 where it just gets far deeper and more conflict and very into the character moments and very into understanding what prejudice is and how people who are raised to have power and understand they have power are making decisions that rightfully really shouldn't have been theirs. And they are not understanding the people who are being prejudiced, you know what I mean? Prejudiced against. You get my meaning? You get my meaning? Book 3 is coming out this year. The Damned King. Later on this year. So I did want to read. That's my alarm telling me I've got to go to work. We ain't even done yet. It's fine. I've got technically 5 minutes before I have to actually be in the car. So, book 4, The Damned King, releasing later this year, and I want to reread book 1 and book 2, and then reread book 3. It's good shit, guys. These are chunky books. I read The Grace of Kings last year, and it took me by storm. I did a vlog about it, and I just screamed. I literally butchered my paperback copy that I have, because I was like, what is happening? And everybody kept, like, everything I heard about The Grace of Kings was just like, oh, you know, it'll be fine. It's a bit like a textbook. Fucking hell, it was not just fine. It took me away. There were so many characters. It is so much happening. And I'm sitting here just like screaming, crying. No, this character walks on a page and it walks off the page a couple of chapters later. And I'm sitting there like, how the fuck does he do that with a character that just appeared and he's not there anymore? And I'm sobbing. Or screaming. Mainly screaming. So I'm going to read all of these. I've heard book 2 is just absolutely incredible. So then you go through all of that. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. But can I fit it in? I don't know. I want to read Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil. And because I love V.E. Schwab. Some of the books are a bit hit or miss for me. I loved Gallant. Gallant is in my heart. I read that 4 times in the same year it came out. Physically and audiobook. Audiobook is just amazing. Like, it's just, oh, I love Gallant. Invisible Lives of MATHARU, I usually adore her standalones a lot. But I enjoyed Dark Trader Magic. It wasn't like, I didn't love it, but I had a good time with it. Okay, I definitely had a good time with it. I haven't read Fractal Threads of Power yet, even though I technically own it, the special edition, and I haven't read it yet. Oh well. Rare Bones and Midnight Soil is coming out this year, and I've pre-ordered the ebook, so maybe I'll get to it this year. I don't know. I might see if a group of friends might want to reread it with me, because they all really love V.E. Schwab as well. So I might be like, do you want to do a reread together, like a buddy read together, and see if you want to do the buddy read with me. Feel free to hop on in, and stuff like that. So I don't know. If you want me to run one, I might just do it, maybe on Storygraph, I don't know, or on here. Let me know. But those are, I think that was 25 books. Technically, it might be a bit longer, considering I'd probably reread a lot of the books I held up for in preparation for like book 2. But these are chonkers. I kind of think the Tab Williams book should count as 2 in each. But there we go. Those are the books that I'm going to read in 2025. If I have not read them by the end of 2025, or if you haven't seen me put an update where I'm reading these books, just keep putting a slap emoji in the comments and scream at me to read these books. Then I will. But I've got to run to work because I'm living my life in chaos. Let me know what books you're planning to read in 2025, and I'll see you in the next one.